I'll be taking up LSRW skills over the next 4 days, which will include a little bit about our professional development as such. You have been hearing other teachers talking about all these topics which I plan to take regarding LSRW skills. Okay, you've been hearing about these techniques for teaching, enhancing grammar, enhancing prose, enhancing poetry. I won't harp much on that. I will just talk about how we reach that level by enhancing the LSRW skills. What you've already gone through is the end result. The listening skills have to be developed to understand the prose lesson. Yes, the listening skills have to be developed to understand what you're communicating. So that's where listening comes in, and it's so important. Okay, so yesterday I posted one video. How many of you were able to watch it? It's a little long video. I don't want to play it in the session because it would have eaten away 20 minutes of our precious time. So how many of you actually went through it? Please tell me sincerely. If you haven't been able to, it's fine. I'm not going to pull you up for anything. We are not judging or we're not teacher student here, okay? But you know why I posted? Because it is in sync with what I'm planning to do for the next 4 days. It tells us, if in case you haven't seen it, it tells us how we can bring up the child's level based on their mental faculties, not what we presume they need to learn. Okay, it sums up all the jargon and all the concepts that you've been hearing over and over again, which is experiential learning, child-centered learning, learner-centered teaching, then value-based learning, okay, art integration. It sums up everything. It's an amalgamation of all the skills that we need to inculcate in ourselves so that we are able to bring out the best in our students. Isn't it the actual aim? Yes. So that's what we start with. So how many of you were able to watch? Thumbs up. Okay. Can anybody just quickly summarize it in words? I'm not talking about sentences. Okay. Okay, fine. You can add
from curriculum. What should we do to bring up our child?
Exactly. So curriculum is your base, but what you do with them is limitless, right? That's exactly what I wanted. The point which I wanted to bring home. Okay. If we stick to our curriculum only, see, initially don't tax yourself, don't get stressed out, because initially some of you are taking up this profession probably for the first time, which I realized, or some of you are not being exposed to this kind of enhancing of their creativity level. It's fine. There's nothing wrong in that. Now that you are aware, and then also if you don't do anything about it, then as they say, if we teach our students the way we were taught yesterday, we are robbing them of their tomorrow. If you've heard this, excellent. Try to take it in. If we teach our students the way we were taught, probably 15, 20, 25, 30 years back, we are robbing them of their tomorrow. Because today's generation has a lot more exposure in any part of the country, a lot more ideas, a lot more to share. But what do we do sometimes? I have to finish my portions, keep quiet and listen to me. I'll take up the question answers right in the end. Don't disturb the class. I know all of us do echo such thoughts, all of us, including me, at times. Okay, the best time to enforce these activities and these strategies is right after the exam till the next exam. 10 days before that you can stop. 10 or 15 days before that, when you start with your revision, you can stop your activity-based learning, your value-based learning, your experiential learning. Practically, it is possible. Okay, because it's a tried and tested method. I'm not talking about something that I haven't tried. Okay, so if you are into a session which you think is just going to be a sharing of PPT and me telling you something and you just noting down, then I'm just sorry to say this is going to be a little more than that, more of a roller coaster ride for you, because I believe in discussing and Again, experiential learning in a practical way to make sure that you have understood all that I wanted to share with you. Okay, so that is why I'm asking for your feedback on the video so that I know that you're in sync with what I'm going to take up next. Anything else? That's very well summed up. This is from who's this? Karpagam ma'am finds signal issues, so she can't switch on the camera. And then I was just about the curriculum, how should bring out the best in our students. Okay, you didn't watch the video, no issues, but it's something like an eye opener. Okay, because when I saw it for the first time, I was amazed at the level where the child's intellect has been described in this video. This professor is willing to take up IIT level training with a 5th standard child because he feels that she's ready to receive. We are not ready to give. We underestimate the power of a student's intellect. Maybe not all, but 80%, they have their brain faculties absolutely developed by the age of 6. We all know, we've all read that in our B.Ed books, we all read that in our curriculum, that the faculties of a child, when it comes to their intellectual level, develop by the age they are 5 or 6 fully. Now it's up to us how much we can put in to enhance that. But we feel, no, this is enough. It is not enough. You can talk about anything. I'd like to cite an example, which I tried in my class. We have to present monthly assemblies, okay? We will all be required to do that at least once or twice a year. Am I right? All schools have class assemblies.
Yes, ma'am, we too have, ma'am.
We all have, yeah. I
Yes,
think most of the schools follow that. Now, because of Corona, we might have stopped for some time. So, during one of the assemblies, that was in the month of January, I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken, just before Corona, I was handling class 7 or class 7 or 6, actually class 6. Okay. And I read something about World Economic Forum, in which they were talking about climatic changes and a lot of issues, which I found very interesting. So I took up this topic for my class assembly, wherein 80% of the children hadn't even heard about what is World Economic Forum and what is it all about and why is it happening and why is it important. But they had heard about global warming, environmental issues, okay? So I took them a step forward and we presented this topic about what all has been happening at the global front in a talk show sort of a thing, okay, in a talk show sort of a format. And the weak students, as we call them, the star boys, held placards, okay. So there were about 15 children involved in that assembly and 15 at the back end where they were, picking up information from the net under their parents' guidance, and they all put up this assembly. Okay, this was before I saw the video. And when I saw this video, I felt that somewhere some divine force guided me and made me do what I really felt was right. So what I'm telling you is we have to broaden our horizon and think beyond the curriculum like ma'am suggested. Okay, bring the world to your classroom. Connect them to everything outside. They should not feel that this is a closed place. They should feel it's a safe place to make mistakes and we must share our point of view, minus the nonsense. You have to make sure that there is no discipline issue or nonsense going on in the class at the same time. It's difficult to balance, but you will learn as you go along. Okay, so bring such, exponential levels to your classroom where the child is involved and wants to find out. The spirit of inquiry should be developed from class 1. Don't think they're too small. Okay, so I'd like to, if you haven't seen the video, I'll request you to see it by today evening. Okay, and post your views on the video in the chat, in the, WhatsApp itself. There's no issue.
Okay,
Just one
ma'am.
line.
Yes, ma'am.
1 line or 2 lines. It is interesting. Believe me, I don't believe in making my lectures or my classes or my presentations boring. Okay, we are here to enjoy and learn. That's the whole idea of activity-based learning. Yes, Vishnu ma'am will agree with me. Vishnu ma'am, am I right? Do you agree?
Ma'am.
She's
I
been
agree
me
with
the
you,
last
ma'am.
2 sessions, yeah. So make it as practical,
Yes, ma'am.
as enjoyable, because that's the way you have to conduct your own classes also. Make your places, classrooms, happy places to be in. The child should look forward. Oh, it's Sandhya ma'am's class. Oh, it's Dhanya ma'am's class. I have to be ready with this. Plus, if I talk or unless you make noise, I know I will disrupt the class. That feeling should be there. If ma'am wants me to do the activity, I should behave myself. If you bring about that knowledge and that system in the class, behavioral issues will get solved to a large extent. There'll be only one or two who will need to really pull up. Those are the incorrigible ones. It's not your fault. Okay, but they'll manage. They'll also realize they're missing too much by talking unnecessarily. They'll fall into place. Okay, so apart from this video, which I wanted you to go through, I'll also share a video on how to develop critical thinking in your students. Okay, how to take them to a higher level. See, if in a class of 35, 40, how many ever you have, minimum 30, I think everybody has, right? You will notice if you see the percentage, there'll be 20 who do exceedingly well, 15 to 20. Mostly almost half the class, you really don't have to struggle with much, right? They understand, they're sincere, they manage. Then it comes the next 10 who can do better with a little guidance, reinforcement, revision. They will ask doubts, you can clarify, they'll manage somehow in that B grade category. Okay. Now there's some who just don't have any help at home. Even if they're smart enough to understand things, they're distracted, their attention span is less, they're restless. But when you sit with them at a one-to-one level, they understand everything. Try this. Okay. You might think that he doesn't know anything or she doesn't know anything, and I've tried my best. Try this just once more when I'm telling you, interact with them at a one-to-one level. I tried this now because post-corona, we had a lot of problems in the schools, all schools. Children had not been paying attention. They had lost touch with studying. Okay, and we had an enormous amount of failures which you've never faced in all these years. I think all of you would have gone through this kind of an issue, right? So what I tried with my students was, I picked up those 10 who I felt really needed my help. Okay, and the others I gave work to. I said, you have to finish this while I'm dealing with these children. And I'm going to be dealing with that now. I'm going to be showing you that activity which I did with all of you demonstrating it. Okay, I made it like a spin a yarn. How we do stories, okay, brainstorming of stories. I did that with these children and I asked them to follow the line. I started the clue, what happened in this chapter. I gave them the first line. Are you all following Gulmohar? No. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, we have followed.
You're following, you'll be well acquainted with the lessons. So I'll just give you a basic example. Okay. What was the, I'll take up Thirsty Crow, which I think all of you would have heard at one point or the other, right? We're all familiar. So I started with, what was the crow looking for? And even if they're not fine with their sentence structure, everybody knew water. Okay. So ask them very, very simple questions. You can put that across classes 1 to 5. Okay. When you're doing revision or when you're reinforcing your concept, ask them one word or maximum one line answers over and over again till you are sure that the chapter has settled in their minds. Okay, so with especially smaller children, because of the less time that they devote to studies and attention span is very less, is very it's like short. So you can reinforce the concept over and over again. There's no harm. Okay, don't just get done away with reading the chapter and giving the question answers. That's not what we are going to school for. Okay, that they can do sitting at home also, and they can manage on their own also very well. So give them time to pre-read. Okay, give them time to Do a silent reading, which is very, very essential. Okay, that you will realize that when I'm doing the LSRW skills in detail. Silent reading is a must. Listening to you and comprehending what you're trying to tell them is absolutely essential. Okay, so make your classes as interesting as rejuvenating. It should be like English class. We're going to learn something new. Ma'am will tell us one activity. The minute you say the word activity, you will see their eyes shine. Yes, ma'am. What do we have to get? There'll be children asking you, what do we have to get? What do we have to do? What do we have to write? Ma'am, is it okay? I've done this. Some of them will finish it in that day's lunch break and show you also. The really enterprising ones. So make your classes as motivating, as interesting, as exciting as you would want your classes to be. Okay. And you will see that they are with you and they will do exceedingly well in your subject because they love your classes. They love the subject. So it is not their native language, right? English is not their native language. It's neither ours. We are also struggling and learning as we go along, right? So understand that. Don't expect too much from them. Wherever they go wrong, gently pull them back on the track and tell them, this could have been said like this also. Introduce new words in a fun way that they feel inspired to come and share a new word with you the next day. Okay, so these are some common inputs that I wanted to share before I start with the actual process. Okay, so there is this video which I would like to share with all of you. Just give me a minute. So it's all about how to develop critical thinking in our students. Okay, I had shared this as a pre-reading material in the previous group, but I thought I'll share it with you in the class so that you understand and relate to what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Okay. So it's there in the, okay, I have loaded it in the chat in case there is some issue and you're not able to.
We are into mobile development, microservices architecture, full stack development. What engineers are into it.
Okay, so I'll try to share and just let me know if you're able to see it clearly. Okay. Are you all able to see the video?
We're into it.
Yes, ma'am.
Ironically, the video also tells about what the future
Yes,
holds in store. Okay, so that's just an ad, but it shows 1 minute. Display it and make it full screen.
Hello and welcome to
This I'll be
Teachers in
sharing in the
Education.
group, so you
I
need
am
now
your narrator, Frank Avella. In
feel
this
stressed to.
presentation, we will be covering several different
Are you able to
topics
view the
related to
screen
critical
properly?
thinking,
Because for me,
Let's begin
the
with the
participants are
basic
showing the
introduction.
last columns are not visible.
Yes,
the
ma'am.
ability to
Yes,
critically
ma'am.
We can see, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, okay,
analyze
fine.
information
Try
and
to
make
take in
reasonable
as much as you
judgments.
can.
One of the main purposes of education is to foster critical thinking in your students.
So that's the
There are
purpose of
many
education.
uses for critical thinking. Functions of critical thinking include career and job skills, self-reflection, economic understanding,
The audio is not clear, ma'am.
critical thinking,
Sorry,
Audio is very low, ma'am. Audio is very low. Will you
One
increase the
minute.
volume, ma'am?
1 minute. I didn't hear you, ma'am. What are you saying?
Will you increase the volume, ma'am?
1 minute. Let me see
Yes,
if I
ma'am.
can. According to me, the volume is at
Not audible.
1 minute, 1 minute. It's at the highest I
with a
can.
basic
Now it's
introduction,
better.
the ability to critically think,
Ma'am, much better.
Okay,
analyze
anyway,
information, and make reasonable
1 minute.
judgments.
All that he's trying to say is given in the subtitles down. Okay, so if you're not able to hear it clearly, anyway, I'm sharing it right away in the group and you can even read what is being said. Okay, all that is coming on the Can you read that part? Analyze information. Is that clear? Okay. In case, how many of you are able to hear it properly? Okay. Only Revati ma'am, is it? Vishu ma'am also. So that means maybe there's some glitch at your end, ma'am. Just check up. Okay, because that's the maximum I can do here. I'll just see because it shows that it's at its maximum, the volume. Okay. So I'll share it in the group, ma'am. You can see it at your own comfort level also, at your own pace. Fine.
One of the main purposes of education is to foster critical thinking in their students. There are many uses for critical thinking. Functions of critical thinking include career and job skills, self-reflection, economic understanding, independent learning, and more. Also, epistemic beliefs play an important role. When students believe in their abilities, they perform far better than those that do not believe in themselves. Critical thinking is ultimately about deduction, reasoning, and logic. Deductive reasoning challenges the mind and keeps it fit. Next up, exactly how do you define critical thinking? Well, critical thinking has been defined in a number of different ways. However, there are some commonalities from the various definitions, and the ability to evaluate information is a common defining factor. Rational people are described as critical thinkers. These thinkers are also open-minded and informed by evidence. Some researchers define critical thinking as a skill, and that skill is seen as an umbrella term that includes analyzing, applying, and conceptualizing information. And lastly, critical thinkers are the type of learners that are self-regulators. These are learners that are able to control their own thought process and their emotions in times of stress. Next up, why is critical thinking so important?
So I'll just stop the video here for a second. Are you all able to follow what is happening here? Yeah. So why do you think that self-regulation is so important? In today's world, why does the learner have to be so strong to face any sort of stress levels and have a development of his or her thinking faculties to the maximum so that they're able to accept and march forward in spite of failures? Have you seen a lot of students succumb to, negativity and even, indulge in suicidal attempts if they, see failure, or if they have stress, or if they're not in sync with their thinking faculties? So then this entire video, entire skill of critical thinking becomes absolutely essential because they're able to analyze their emotions, sort them out, and understand that this is not the end. I can achieve tomorrow, day after, in the near future, even if today I have not been able to. Okay, so this is a very, very important life skill that you bring in right from day one, the minute you enter your classroom. It is fine if you make a mistake. It is acceptable. Your failure is absolutely acceptable. It doesn't make you a better or a worse or a good or a bad student. It's something that we'll overcome together. I'm with you. You have to instill that confidence as a teacher, as a role model in your students' heads. They should feel happy and confident enough to confide about their issues to you. And they know that you'll find an amicable solution. Okay, so as English teachers, our responsibility becomes even greater, apart from teaching them how to understand the language. Apart from language, remember two L's, the next is life skills. Through your stories, through your texts, through your books, through your experiences, through your role, being a role model, you instill these skills in them. Whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not, whether you do it consciously or subconsciously, when you discuss a chapter, you must think about how it is going to help them in the future. Okay, so a simple lesson like a big kite, small kite, I think you've read that poem. Somewhere we have read that poem in one of the chapters. Okay, how the small kite is being made fun of. And this aids a lot in their confidence levels when they're being bullied and they're not able to tell you. When they're being pulled up at home because of, comparison between siblings, or parents don't have the time to sit with them, or they're having any other behavioral issues at home. So a lot of our children face a lot of modern day problems today. Yes, these were non-existent when we had a joint family setup, and grandparents were always there, when they had parents or at least the mother with them the whole day. Now in today's world, the child is absolutely on his own. We have working mothers who have to take care of their careers from morning 8 to night 9. Correct? So the child is clueless about all these skills. So our role becomes even greater to instill all this as a mother teacher, as a mother in school. It becomes even greater. Are you with me, teachers? Do you realize our responsibility? Forget about what math teacher is doing, what science teacher is doing, what teacher is doing. What are we doing? As English teachers, our role is not defined at all. It is an mixture of so many rules put together. As a reformer, I would call ourselves social reformers, who are instilling life skills in them right from day one, right from first standard. Right? So how to conduct themselves with their peers, with their friends, with their parents, with their elders, with strangers, right? And the feelings of gratitude and feelings of self-help should be instilled with them right from day one. Okay, so just want you to understand, sometimes we underestimate our power. We have enormous powers, but we don't know how to use them. So I'm just empowering you with that skill to use them effectively. Okay, yeah.
Critical thinking breeds self-awareness. Individuals that are self-aware are able to recognize their own biases and assumptions and become better for them. Critical thinking is actually a technique used to make better decisions. Critical thinking is used in a methodical way to solve problems. Being able to effectively solve problems is needed in any and all walks of life, whether it is raising children or running a business. Learners that have mastered the ability to critically think are much more likely to have career success as well. Before we get deep into this, I want to take a quick break and ask that you please subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and check the description.
You can do it. It's a very good channel, and I have lots of videos on that. Educate us. There's no harm in educating ourselves.
Different forms of critical thinking. Critical thinking may take on 3 different forms. The first form is verbal reasoning, which is the ability to detect persuasive or manipulative techniques found in oral and written language. Next is probabilistic reasoning. For example, a person should know that there is a 1 in 6 chance of rolling 4 when using a single die, and that hitting the Mega Millions lottery isn't even possible. The third form is scientific reasoning, which is being able to judge how valuable and reliable data is in relation to the area of study. Next, we'll take a look at instruction in critical thinking. Educators must aim to foster critical thinking in their students. Teachers should instill a degree of intellectual skepticism in their learners. These learners must constantly question the legitimacy of information. When building lesson objectives or creating classroom activities, use Bloom's taxonomy to ensure higher order thinking skills are integrated. Learners should also be assessed and evaluated on their ability to master content, questions based on a high degree of cognitive rigor. Argument analysis tasks, for example, align to critical thinking activities. This goes back to the intellectual skepticism previously mentioned. Next, let's take a look at some actual examples of critical thinking in the classroom. Having classroom debates is one way to increase critical thinking in your students, but it also builds teamwork and presentation skills. Another lesson is to have students come up with their own ideas for an invention, then create that invention, and lastly, market that invention to the classroom. Think, pair, share is simultaneously an assessment and an activity. Students compare and contrast, make judgments, what's correct, what's not acceptable. Teachers may have learners analyze or create their own political cartoons. Students have to either draw meaning or inject meaning into these cartoons. Creative educators find ways to incorporate riddles into the course curriculum. One great example that I've seen is integrating riddles into teaching poetry. Gap fill-in may be the best known lesson focused on critical thinking. Students simply fill in the steps taken to arrive at a solution. They must also provide evidence. And Now on to the last section of the presentation, development of critical thinking skills. First, let me point out that learners can develop critical thinking in several ways. One way is to teach students to follow the evidence. And for this to occur, students must be determined in their epistemic beliefs. They must believe that they can be successful. Next, learners should be encouraged to ask as many questions that come to their minds. The more inquisitive in nature they are, the better critical thinkers they will become. And lastly, the development of metacognitive learning strategies will help students understand how they learn and will help them develop confidence in their ability to successfully think through difficult problems. Now, right now, I want to say again, thank you for your time. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
Yes. So coming back to class, how many of you felt that this is absolutely important? And somewhere along the line, if you haven't been doing it, you do need to start. Yes. See how many benefits and uses of developing critical thinking in your children, which is listed, are so important for life skills. See, why I'm showing you this video is this is exactly what CBSE is going on, pressing on, emphasizing on. They're saying we make the child job ready, okay, by making him literate. So we've done our job. He's got a good job. He's earning a good salary. He's absolutely settled in life. We're very happy. My student. Yes. But if the same student has behavioral tantrums, not able to get along with his colleagues, not able to, get along in a team because he's too condescending and he feels that he's the best. When it was our time to praise him, we praise him so much that he can't accept failure. When it was time to instill life skills, we did nothing about it. We felt that, oh, he's able to top the class, fine, our job is done. Then we have not made him life ready. We have made him job ready only. Now, what is the role of English teachers? To make them ready for life. To make them, equip them with such skills that, the problems and the issues that he faces in life, he's easily able to overcome. And he doesn't struggle or comes out as a failure when it comes to life skills. So as English teachers, our roles become even greater because after teaching the lesson, you have to ask them not only about the moral value, but how do you think this chapter will help them, in the upcoming years of their life. So much so that if they have an issue, they should remember, oh, that character did like that. I think that is the way we should also do. And your anecdotes, your life experiences, helping them share their life experiences becomes your teaching aid. Apart from your textbook, which is a traditional way, apart from your blackboard, smartboard, duster, or whatever you're using, charts, flashcards, they're the done things. But interaction is something that we lack. We might be having our own inhibitions in language skills. Okay, we might be having our own issues regarding completing the portions, time schedules. It could be multiple issues, okay, a set of issues. But developing this critical thinking becomes imperative if we want to develop any sort of life skill in our students. Are you all with me? Did that video make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Did it make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Yeah. So now I want you to think for just 2 minutes, okay, and try to see how you could have not done, or if you've done, please share. I'll be happy to hear. Or if you think that, okay, I wasn't doing it till now, let me see how I can make a difference in my teaching strategies after this eye-opening video. In fact, both the videos. Okay, try to see how you can make a difference in your teaching methodologies and take it a step forward and inculcate these kind of skills in your children, where if you read, you have to be inquisitive. You have to bring out that spirit of finding out why this has happened. If a character has behaved in such a way, ma'am, why didn't he behave like this? He could have done this. Or if I was that character, I would have done like this. Why did he, not do like that? Encourage such questions. Personalize the text. If you were so and so, do you think you would have done the same thing? Or did he do the correct thing? Or what could have been an alternate ending? All these kind of questions, or personalizing, it's called personalizing the text, or alternate ending, or give the story another title. Do you think the story, this title justifies the story? You ask a class 1 child, you will see the kind of answers they give you. You'll be amazed. You think they don't know, but believe me, they know lots. They know about certain topics more than you do at our age. I've seen that. Okay, so try to do that, and be gentle and kind with till class 3 at least, as you're delivering all this. Okay, they will be restless, they will be excited, they will be disciplinary issues, but handle them in a balanced way. Okay, because the children get excited, and some of the ones who like to make noise take advantage of such activities. This happens in a practical classroom scenario. Okay, so set a list of bench rules. These are the rules if you want to play the activity. Otherwise, stop and tell them, I cannot continue if you go on like this, and you will be successful. Believe me, you have to set rules. Okay, otherwise it'll be very difficult to control them because they don't know where to stop them. Fine. So you can carry on. Sad truth, ma'am. What is the sad truth, ma'am? Karpaga, ma'am. Okay, anyway, I don't know. I think she's talking about sad truth that.
We have a lot of work, you said no, ma'am. As a mother and as
Sorry?
a teacher, we have a lot of work, you said no. That time she sent this message, ma'am. It's a sad truth.
About which, what, ma'am?
We have a lot of work as a housewife, we have a lot of work. And as a teacher, we are balancing everything. You said no. That time she said that
No, I was
sad
only
truth.
talking about balancing the classroom. Our housework is
Yes.
something that we have to do. There's no escape from that. Yes. So that is something that is, given to us and we have to do. But this is something we choose to do. Okay. So I want a solemn promise from all of you that you will not teach them in the traditional way and try to bring out the best in your students. Okay. Make a solemn promise to yourself that from today, if you've been doing it, you will try to make a difference. If you haven't been following all this, you will try to incorporate, seeing your class level, seeing your the level of your students, seeing the level you're teaching based on your curriculum. You'll go a little beyond step by step and try to put in such values and spirit of inquiry, and the way they think, okay, has to undergo a sea change. Only then our teaching will be effective. Okay, so coming to my PPTs, which I will also take up, because we need to do a little bit of subjective and little bit of theory and little bit of practical work. Okay, so this is something, my PPTs are all full of very practical tips and probably steps which you've already been following. It's just a reinforcement. Okay, if you feel there's something new that you can do, please feel free to stop me, share, note down, but I'll be sharing the PPT as it is in your group as it is right after the session. Okay, and also the video which I've shown you. Fine. So just share your views and we'll have a small discussion based on the ideas presented here. Okay, please feel free to pitch in. Just stop me. Okay, and I'll be happy to listen to you. So the first slide says, Purnima, would you like to read this? First school, Purnima, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Are you able to hear me, ma'am? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Please carry on. Please read the slide.
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
comfortable? Yeah, please read.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Get their full attention. Encourage your students to look at you when they listen. Their full attention is important, and this gets them into the habit of giving their full attention of what's behind it, what
To
being
what's
said.
being said, yes. So how does this help you? You all tell them, I think you all try this in the class. Now all of
They're
you look at-
asking question, ma'am.
yes. You don't you hear yourself telling that now all of you listen to me, look up, don't write right now, listen to me. This is exactly what they're saying. To get their full attention, you have to first make sure that the entire class is with you. Give them 2 minutes to settle down and stop what they feel is very important at that time. They have their own level of important tasks in their mind, okay? They feel that this has to finish and then only I can concentrate on what ma'am is trying to tell. Remember, they're small children, okay? They are not army officers who know that, okay, this is the regime, fine? So get their attention. And how do you do that? See, this is something very practical. Tell them, okay, I'm going to tell you a short story. And while you start, okay, tell them that I'm going to be asking you questions based on this story. And the ones who are not able to answer will be losing out on the next set of activity. Okay. So they should know it's like an activity chain, which if they don't understand the story, they won't be able to answer the questions. And if they don't answer the questions, they won't be able to understand the next set of activities. Okay. You try this and tell them that, see, that child will have to perform something. It's like a Simon Says or a passing the parcel sort of a game. Okay. So that child will have to come and recite a poem if you're not able to answer my question. So that kind of motivation drives their attention towards whatever you want to share with them. Okay. Give them a lot of time to settle down first. I told you start with meditation. If possible, brief them one day before that tomorrow I'm going to do this. But this is the set of, these are the set of rules which you have to abide by. Otherwise, the whole activity will not be as effective as it has to be. Okay. When you speak to them, tell them this is what is expected from them. They will understand. 99% of them will understand. I'm not talking about an ideal situation. This actually happens. When we know what we set out to do, we will achieve it. If we are only unsure, we are not clear, we haven't done our lesson planning well, we haven't, looked into what we need to do for the next day, then obviously catching them off guard will take a lot of our time. Okay. So do this in a planned way. Yes, somebody wants to say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Just you were telling about meditation, no, ma'am? The class actually. So like the normal meditation is like when they close their eyes, they will not get the concentration, no, most of them. Sometimes
Okay, you
it
want me to try
happens.
one simple activity now?
Yeah, sure. So what is my doubt is that we can tell them to close and something like we can tell, no, like.
I'm telling
so,
that. That's
yeah,
not
okay.
meditation. Should
Yeah,
I do
sure,
that with
ma'am.
all of you now?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
You
Please,
ready?
ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
sit
ma'am.
straight, close your eyes. All of you close your eyes. I can see some of you opening. Yes. So unless you close your eyes, the magic won't work. For the magic to work, you have to close your eyes and go into your wonderland. So imagine you're in a field of lush, soft, velvety green grass. Ask them the adjectives I use later. So this is nice for enforcing grammar skills as well. You can hear the chirping of the melodious tunes of birds. You can hear the melodious chirping of birds. You can see colorful butterflies fluttering on the flowers. The flowers are swaying in the soft, cool, fresh breeze. You can see the soft, white, fluffy clouds in the bright blue sky. The soft breeze is fanning your face. You're totally relaxed. Ready to get on with the day. You're peaceful, calm, relaxed. Now slowly rub your palms. Gently put them on your eyes. Open your eyes slowly. How do you feel? Yes? How do you feel?
Thank you, Samadhan.
Yes, Dhanya ma'am, did I answer your questions? I demonstrated
Yes, ma'am.
my-
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes. So,
Yes, ma'am.
for primary children, one small tip I'll share. You can take them to
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Shall I tell one more activity like this, ma'am?
Please do.
Usually I'll do this, ma'am. Before start the class, I'll tell them because they are 3 to 5, no? They are young.
Yes.
They love to sing a song and they love to do some actions.
Hmm.
So usually I will do clap and go up, clap and come down. Swim and go up, swim and come down. Wave and go up, wave and come down. Now hands on your lap and back down straight. Like this, I will give some attention to them.
Excellent, ma'am. So lovely. Thank you so
Yes,
much
ma'am.
for sharing. So, if you're ready to take in one more tip, then after this, you ask them how they're feeling, and
Yes.
this will immediately relax them totally. Okay, this is an instant reaction you get from them. You will see most of them will be absolutely ready to absorb all the information that you're willing to, you're going to share with them after this. And you will see their attention spans also expanding. Fine. And one more, like how ma'am said, you can start with sky, sun, raise the left hand, moon, right hand, stars, rain, thunder. Okay, these are the forces of nature. So if you tell them, and then how to bring, I tell them, they all are very good at playing video games, okay? I start with the easy level, sun, moon, stars, make them do once everything. Then sun, stars, tell them fast. Then I tell them, are you ready for medium round? Okay, ma'am. Then, go on with one monotonous tone and suddenly take a break. In between, like sun, moon, stars, thunder, like that, So bring their attention listening still, okay? And then suddenly in between say statue. They enjoy that, because they need a break in between. After 1 or 2 rounds, say statue. And you see how Dhanya ma'am is smiling. You will all see yourself enjoying this. And the children also, ma'am, we'll play refresh. This is what I did, that guided meditation is in their language, refreshing their system. Like how we refresh the computer, this is a refresh exercise. So I tell them, are you ready for refresh exercise? Especially the post-lunch periods, you must do this. That's the time they're really restless. Okay, just before lunch and post-lunch is a very dangerous time to have an English session. Yeah, because they are ready to rush to the restroom, food, hungry, all this happens, okay? And after lunch, they are kind of lethargic. So if you do the sun moon after lunch, they are with you for the next half an hour. Okay, and guided meditation, you can even do just before lunch. Take them one day to the world of chocolates. one day to the world of, read Enid Blyton's Faraway Tree. They have lots of ideas where you can take them. Okay. Encourage them to read Enid Blyton's. They have a lot of stories, you know, which relate to the child's sensibility and imagination, creativity. It's like a magical world to transfer themselves into. Okay. So you can encourage them to read such short stories. It's the one which I'm referring to is the Magical Faraway Tree. Okay, you could ask them to read that. Okay, and then so attention problem solved. Yeah, catching the attention deficit problem solved. Fine, forever. So try this and please share if you try anything. Like how ma'am said, if you come across any new activity, okay, please do share in the group. Let's not try to make it like a group activity. Okay. So next, Kavya ma'am. And tomorrow when you join the class, just rename your ID along with your school name. It'll be easy for me to identify, okay, with all of you. Yeah, Kavya ma'am, please read if you're fine with it. Ma'am, you are on mute.
Shall I start, ma'am?
Please start, ma'am.
Make reading an interactive activity. While reading aloud, stop before turning the page and ask, what do you think will happen next? Ask your child to explain their answer to see how well they have been listening. If they haven't been listening, avoid criticizing and instead aim to get them into a fun habit of predicting what will happen next.
So children love to come up with their own point of view, okay? Ma'am, why did this person do like this? I think if you had done like this, okay, encourage such conversation. Don't tell them quietly listen to the text. This is what you have to answer in the exam. Okay, that is from the exam point of view, he will do excellent. Okay, in an excellent way, he'll be able to answer if you inculcate the language skills in this way with him or her. Okay, so here your child means your student. Okay, for primary, always use your child because they're all your children. Okay, so and always remember one thing, teachers. How will you feel if your children are treated the way you're treating your students, your own child? And you will never ever consciously try to do anything wrong. Okay, we are human beings. We will do errors. But if you take it like, what if my child was pulled up like this? Or what if my child was not encouraged or not asked or not told or was not able to share? Would I as a parent have liked it? If you keep yourself in that position, believe me, you will always be conscious of that role and take them to a higher level. Okay, so your classes should always be the conversation, dinner topic, conversation topic, dinner table conversation topic. And they should know, my English teacher told me this today. Let the child go home and tell. They are your brand ambassadors. They make you famous as it is. You become a household name. Yes. What did Kavya ma'am teach today? The mothers will also want to know. So make your class that interesting, that they have something to take home, take away, and discuss at home. I know parents who tell the child to take a class with them. They become the teacher and the parent becomes the student. And they tell the day's activities. So the parents, learn what all they've done in school. And that's the feedback they come and give me. Ma'am, the way you took your class was as if Sunena ma'am is sitting in front of me and telling me all this. So to that level, you have to reach to your children. Okay. So these are very nice and practical and useful tips, which you can incorporate in most of your chapters. Ask them. Okay. This will also give you an insight into how much you have reached them, how much you have delivered. What did you plan to do? Have you planned properly? Have you been able to, put something into their heads, as we say? Have they understood what you wanted them to? Have they understood something beyond it? Or, you need to work on some strategies? Because the saddest question you can be asked is, ma'am, we didn't understand what you tried to tell us. You feel like such a, a failure there. I do at least. I'm sure all of you also agree with me. And then you start thinking of new and innovative ways to make your point across in a more easier way. Am I right? In a more, in a more compatible way where the child understands exactly what you're trying to tell him about the lesson, about the chapter, about the question answers, about the grammar topic, about anything. These skills are there as a language activity. Okay, it could be used for any of the topics you're taking. Fine. And as I told you, make your classroom a safe place to make mistakes. I'll keep repeating that over the class sessions. They should feel that if we make a mistake, ma'am will not scold us. She will just tell us, okay, this is the answer, and next time try to do it this way. Okay. Even to the most, like if you feel, okay, this child is very naughty, doesn't hear, doesn't listen to anybody, doesn't do his work, doesn't, get good marks, comprehension is very low. You try speaking to him at his level one day and ask him, Kana or child, or please tell me, can I help you in any way? I want to help you. What is the problem? Why aren't you able to understand? Why aren't you able to write? And you will see tears welling up in the eyes, and he'll come out with all his issues. Sometimes they tell us about their family more than their own family knows about, about each character, because they want to confide in somebody, but they don't know who to trust. I'm not saying get into the personal lives. You should have a demarcating line. But at the same time, see, Muthu some party is going on there, which we are not aware of. Okay, never mind. Muthu ma'am, please mute yourself. Okay, so you will find when you gain the confidence of the child and tell him, okay, you can confide in me. I'll try to help you, but I don't know. You keep a clear line. If the problem is very serious, please confide in your principal that this is what I've heard from the child. I want you to look into it. See, us jumping into their personal lives is not a very good idea, because the child, for all you know, could be exaggerating. First, get your facts clear. Okay. Some parents might not like an intrusion because children are very clear-hearted. They might not like you to intrude into their personal space. So be very, very clear about that. Your motive is not to make fun of the family problems or any other issues. Your motive is only and only to help the child. So do it at your level in class. Okay. Make sure that he's confident and he's, happy to be with you. At least give him that comfort level in your class. Okay. If the problem poses to be very serious, you can take the help of your head and let her call the parents, and you can pitch in there. Always do certain things with the guidance of your heads. Okay, because parents might not like it. Nowadays, we don't know their sensibility and their issues also. What the child is saying is from his perspective. So respect that and try to see how you can help him out. Okay. And secondly, when you try such activities in your class, you make sure that everybody's with you. Like Simon says, I think you've already heard about it. Yes, Simon says, are you all aware of this? Read page 29. Simon says, answer this question. So just make it sound like, it's a game. It's a fun activity to be alert in the class and try to see. Now the next question, tick, tick, one, tick, tick, and make it loud, sound like I say KBC. I play KBC with them at times. I'm giving you 4 options. Which one do you think is the correct one? So change your strategies based on the lesson. Okay. And I sometimes also tell them that if you're talking or if you're not paying attention, you'll be in the danger zone and you'll be out of the game. So talk to them in their language. Okay. And they will really understand because they know this PS and their video game language very well. Danger zone and easy level, medium level, difficult level, So be aware of what's happening in their lives. What is the new jargon they've picked up, and try to talk to them in that language. They enjoy that and they relate to it and they understand what you're trying to tell them. Okay. So you can even make your own listening games. This helps you understand whether the child has been able to comprehend the skill which you were trying to impart, the knowledge which you were trying to share. Okay, when you ask them questions based on that. Okay, so ask the students to find objects around your class by giving them verbal clues. Okay, so it's a a round object. It is usually used for this. You can give them some sort of a verbal clue, and it's like a treasure hunt. You all play treasure hunt. Yes, tell them, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Find what I'm talking about. It's round, it's moving. You feel very unhappy if it stops. What am I talking about? In summer season, you need it even more. What am I talking about in the classroom? Can anybody guess? Can anybody guess in the group? It's round, turn round, going round and round, providing comfort to us. If it stops, we feel very unhappy, especially in summertime.
Fan.
Yes, you all guess
Fan.
it, right? Yes. So give such clues once in a way to make sure that even if you're deviating from your topic, the children are with you and they catch every word that you're trying to say. Because the minute somebody says fan, the others will be wondering what you're talking about. And next time when you bring up such an activity, they'll all pay attention. So I can hide that activity between what I'm trying to say. Okay. So do that. And then this is another fun activity, story chain. Okay. If we have 3 minutes towards the end, I'll play this with you. I think some of you are already very familiar with this. Most of you will be. Is there anybody who's not familiar with the story chain concept?
Building up of the story by each and every child.
Yeah, spin a yarn. Yeah, correct. Okay, you could do this with verbal clues, some words written on the board with hints, or give them an open-ended. This is story chain is usually open-ended here, but initially for classes 1 and 2, you can give them hints and phrases and words which they can help, form their sentence because they're still learning the basic language. Okay, so for classes 1, 2, and 3, you can give them a lot of clues. 3 and 4, you can start with open-ended lines. Okay, so this is one very nice concept which I'll do it in the class now, do it in a session now. Okay, place an emphasis on common speech signals. Okay, like most of these children have this habit of saying then and they keep repeating their comfort words. So wean them of those and develop their language skills by helping them include words like now, this happened, now when I was there, or next, this happened, before that, that had happened. Finally, this could be done, some words which help them. This could be 3 and classes 3 onwards. You could help them with such verbal clues, okay, to develop the skill, speaking skill also. Okay, then comes your vocabulary. Now I could take another 1-hour session on this because there are lots and lots of insights into how we can develop vocabulary in our students. So the best one is role play, which means you be the instructor who will identify. So tell them, I'm going to identify all the new words which you speak in this week, and the one who uses the maximum number of words with the correct with the meaning intact is going to be the star boy in the class. Okay, so if you try to do such an activity and you also try to teach them at least one word a day, you will see how the children catch up with this and come up with the phenomenal set of words which they use in their listening, their speaking and their writing skills. Okay, so you could also not be only insisting on reading books. Give them clues, give them some sort of a lead and say, I read a very interesting story, like I told you about the faraway tree, Enid Blyton. I'm sure at least 50% if you look into it on Kindle or Google and try to see which are the lands you can take them to next. Yes, so try to do that. Give them some sort of a verbal hint to arouse their interest levels and follow it up. Okay, I did one with the middle school when I was taking up. I told them, Vishu ma'am, you remember the story I told you? Nobody came up with the clues about the face in the dark. Yes? You remember that? Okay, so the story is by Ruskin Bond, and he's teaching in Missouri. And one fine rainy day, it's raining in Chennai. I don't know whether it's raining in your area because of a cyclone formation. Is it raining in your areas?
No, ma'am.
Okay, it's pouring since morning in
Ma'am.
Chennai, and the weather's like a
Cloudy, ma'am.
day,
Yes, ma'am.
cloudy, and it's dark and it's raining since morning. Okay, so you could, this teacher is coming back home on such an evening, and he sees one boy sobbing. He's sitting on the side of the road and sobbing away, and his head is between his arms like this. He's not able to see the face. So he keeps asking him like a teacher, can I help you? Have you lost your way? Do you want me to call your parents? Do you want me to drop you home? And this boy doesn't look up, but keeps crying, keeps sobbing. So this teacher really wants to help. That is Ruskin Bond himself. And he insists on seeing the child's face. And when he looks up, he sees something which he's petrified with. Now you read the story and tell me, why was he petrified? Why was he scared? So you brought about that stir the inquisitive nature of the child, encourage him to read. Ma'am, what is the meaning of petrified? Look up in the dictionary and tell me. I will not tell you. Relate it to the story. You brought about vocabulary, you brought about reading habits, you brought about, creativity. Yes, he will just probably open another tab if he's online and start reading the story before you can even end the class. Correct? So bring about the same attitude. You must read this story and come tomorrow. Has changed to an activity-based question so seamlessly. Now, if I told you, there's a very nice story, A Face in the Dark, you must read it and come tomorrow. And when I've put it up like this, which is more encouraging? First way or the second way? Just point out and tell me.
The first way.
First way.
So, did you see how you brought about a change in your attitude and your vocabulary and your set of words and brought about this change in the reading habit of the child? So these are the small changes which you incorporate, you'll reach them in a better way. Right? Mostly what do we say? You must read this story and come tomorrow. We don't give them a clue. We don't give them any sort of reason to read, except that, oh, they have to read. Okay, so give them enough food for thought, as they say, so that the child feels that I must do this to outshine. The only job we're doing here is we're all shining. We are all excellent teachers. That is the ground rule. But how do we outshine in front of our students, our parents, our heads, and colleagues? That's the whole aim of these workshops. Okay? Sandhya ma'am tried this. I also must try this. Motivate your colleagues also. Share all the techniques with them. Like how I'm sharing and others sharing with you all. We have nothing to take back, hide. What is there? Where 100 children are benefited, 1,000, 10,000, lakhs should benefit. If we have tried to do something new, that should be the attitude. No, my class should be the best. I should not share, should not be the attitude. Nobody can steal your talent from you. Right? Nobody can be Kavya ma'am or Aarti ma'am or Maha ma'am or Surena ma'am or Dhanya ma'am. You are you. Sharing techniques only helps you build your community in a better way, in a stronger way. That's all. And you will see that rippling effect. When you share, see all the goodness that comes with it. You'll be amazed to see the rippling effect, okay? So this is what you already know. Use books, games, flashcards, charts, and online programs to build your child's vocabulary. I will give you enough tips as we go along. Today's was Get them interested in reading that story, okay? Then be a good listener also, okay? Avoid interrupting when your child is talking. When they are talking, show them that you're listening to what they have to say with an intent, with all your attention and the interesting ear. Don't be like, okay, I'll listen to you later. Keep quiet. Let me finish the lesson. It's okay if you take a little longer. Like all the teachers are insisting, even Usha ma'am told you the same thing. You will finish your portions on time because that divine force has entrusted that responsibility with you. He will make sure that you do. Believe in that force, okay? You are doing your job in an out of the box way, creating a major change in the attitude of your students, where they love to learn and not forced to learn. Okay, so try to do that. Okay, give positive indicators like nodding, your body language. This is nothing but your body language. They should feel that you're receiving their signals well. If you become uptight about it or scold somebody or spoil the mood of the class and your mood, or have some personal underlying issues which are disturbing you, leave all that outside the class. Once you go in, you're on a mission. Okay, leave all that. We all have ups and downs. We all have good days, bad days. Health is not cooperating, family is not cooperating, class is not cooperating, too much stress, you have to take off. It's fine. As long as you're doing your job sincerely, the whole universe will make sure that you come out successful. Yes, believe in that. As long as you're doing it sincerely, that's the ground rule. Okay, which I'm sure all of you are. So say supporting words like, okay, Kana, doesn't matter. We'll try to solve it. I'm with you. You should not feel like that. If somebody's hit somebody, is it the right thing you did? Stir their emotions. Don't just scold. Make them understand their mistake, not call them by some name. Okay? Or make sure that you only scold them for the mistake and not for what they are. You have to accept them for what they are. But if they've committed a mistake, make sure that you tell them, look, this is not done. That's all. Be very firm when you're putting that point across so that they know that informed choice is right or wrong. They know what is right from wrong. They all know. Okay, they all know. It's your duty to make them aware of that so that next time this doesn't happen. Right? So say supporting words and follow up with questions or elaborating on what they've said to show interest. Okay, they should know that you are interested in what you are and interested in what they're trying to tell you. Okay, then this I've already told you enough about today. Okay, don't expect your students to process information if it is lengthy, out of context, or not particularly. So what do you have to do? Make things interesting for them. The same way like I told you about Ruskin Bond and Enchanted Wood. Okay, I feel I would have done my job well if you read both the stories. They're very short stories, and come tomorrow and share what you felt about them. Okay, why I'm telling you this? See, somewhere along the line with all our responsibilities, we lose touch with our own subject. We stop reading. That's the only thing that takes a back seat because we have to do the rest of the work, no matter how busy we are. Only our reading as English teachers takes a back seat. Am I right? So pick up some book with short stories. I will also suggest Chicken Soup for Indian Teachers. Okay, try to lay your hands on that book and read some of the stories which are so inspirational. And you'll be, a different person when you join in June. Okay, so focus on building learning comprehension skills in a fun and supportive way, and remember to be patient. Children are children. We don't have to become like them when we are them. Okay, we have to remain what we are, but try to come to their mental level and make sure that they have understood what you're trying to tell them.